Okay, so time for another installment of my testimony. I'm doing a voice note this time because videos are too stressful. Basically, I left my husband. I met a man who was a drug addict. I didn't realize this until we've been together for a long time. Eventually, I did realize he was taking drugs, and he basically insisted that I try. It was crack cocaine and cocaine. I tried it. I got hooked. I also, at the same time, through friends, started taking ecstasy. So on the weekends, as a recreational drug, I'd take ecstasy. But I got to the point with this guy. He made a lot of money. He was in the media world. I can't say more than that. But he made enough money so that we could smoke just about every day after his work. And sometimes, if he wasn't working, we'd smoke for 3 or 4 days at a time and drink at the same time without doing anything else like eating. I got to a stage where I was weighing about 47 kilos, which is about 15 kilos less than I should be weighing. I'm 5'8", a lot less than I am now. I've put on a lot of weight recently because of giving up all that stuff and stress. And the problem with addiction is once you give up something, you don't stop being addicted, you just change to something else. So I have always been addicted to sweet things and sugar. So I went on full on back into the sugar craving story, where unfortunately at the moment I am overeating sweet stuff. I need to deal with that. It is a problem. It is not healthy. What a lot of people do is that they turn to gym and healthy things, which is a good thing, but then they become addicted to that. So yeah, there is always an addiction that we change to. In the beginning, when I first got saved, because what happened was, when I first got saved, I gave my heart to the Lord, and it was a complete exchange. He took away all the addictions, the alcoholism, the drug addictions, the sicknesses. I was throwing up blood every day. I had bleeding ulcers. I was very ill. He took away a lot of that, plus mental issues, depression. And for 3 years, I focused myself completely on the Lord, on learning about God, on finding out, who Jesus was, because I didn't have any clue about God and Jesus when I got saved. I just agreed to it because I was desperate, because I was on the verge, like literally that day, of killing myself. Anyway, so that is a part of the story that I have already told you, but for people who haven't listened to that podcast or whatever it's called. So anyway, so this guy I was dating, he was lovely for the first year. But then he started to get aggressive and violent and jealous, very jealous. If I even looked in the wrong direction and there was a man there, he would scream at me. If he thought that I might possibly be cheating, he would hit me. He would sometimes take acid, which was something which I didn't take, which I only took years later and hated it. But he would take things like acid, which I didn't know, and he'd come home after work and I would be sleeping and he'd be furious. Yes, he would be furious because I would be sleeping and he got home late, but like 11 o'clock at night. And the one night I was asleep and he was on something, and I woke up to find myself being pulled across the room by my hair. He beat me up solid. He took me into the bathroom and just hit me and screamed and called me every name under the sun. And he was insane. We had tenants at that time who could hear that I was screaming and was being beaten up, but there were 2 gay guys, so they were scared to come and see what was going on because this guy was completely insane. Anyway, so that was, one of the times he abused me. He only really beat me up 2 or 3 times before I left, because I was abused badly by my stepfather when I was small, and I swore that I would never allow a man to hit me again. But I loved this man, I thought, so much, and also he had me so tied up with the drugs, and the drugs he was taking were very expensive. It worked out to probably at least 1,000 rand a day. So when you hooked like that, it's very hard to walk away, even if you're getting physically abused. He was very charming. He also slept around a lot. He had an incredibly sexy voice. He was good looking. He was, tall, dark, and handsome. Very, very attracted to women. And he was in the kind of business where he is semi-famous. A lot of people knew who he was. So he had a lot of ladies that he was seeing at the same time, which I didn't realize. And then what happened is that he started sleeping with my friends, and I caught him in bed with 2 of my friends. And then another friend of mine told me that he was seeing another woman at the same time as me, but seriously. He was telling this woman that he was going to marry her and they were going to move overseas together. And the only reason that my friend told me about this is that he told her that he was going to leave myself and this other woman that he said he was going to marry for this friend of mine, and that he was sleeping with her at the same time. It was insane. It was absolute insanity. I don't know how I put myself through that. I always said as a child, I'll never ever allow that to happen because of the abuse of my stepfather, but because of the drugs, and I really thought I was in love with him. It took me a good 2 years to leave him. Eventually, he had beaten me up one last time, and the last time was actually very traumatic, where the last time we were driving in the car and he started hitting me and screaming at me, and he said to me, "When we get home, I'm going to kill you." And I knew he was being serious. So we were driving through Melbourne in Johannesburg, and we stopped at a stop street, and I jumped out the car, which was still semi-moving, and fell onto the ground and ran and hid in a shop behind the counter, crying hysterically. And he went and parked the car and got out and came and looked for me, and he came into the shop and said, "Have you seen this woman?" And they could see I was terrified, so they said no. And I phoned my mother, and she said, "Okay, I will get you a ticket, I'll get you a place here." They had moved down previously to the coast, and my mother had already taken my son because of when the physical abuse started. I said to my mom, "Please take him." So she had my son already for about a year, and she said, "Okay, I will get you a place. You move down here, you move in with your son, otherwise I'm going to keep him." So obviously, even with the drugs and all of that, my son is my son, so I moved down to the coast. I got a flat near my mother. I moved in with my son and slowly started to come right. At this stage, I was 28 years old. So this guy and I still stayed friends. And unfortunately, he would come down every second weekend or so and bring me crack cocaine, and we would sit and smoke all weekend. So I couldn't find drugs down at the coast. I didn't know where to look, but I got my fix every second week. That kept me going. And then what happened is I met up with obviously the wrong crowd and started partying again. So that will be another story for another time. But yeah, that's how I got to move down to the coast. And then the next stage of my life is when I met my best friend, who we were best friends until very recently. And yeah, that was basically 20 years of my life that she and I were very close friends. We used to party, and we met through a mutual friend, and from then on we were basically inseparable, and we started going out clubbing, and that is another story for another day. So I will get back to you about that situation. There's a lot of other things that happened in between. I've had friends dying of drug overdoses. I've had friends dying of AIDS. I've had a lot of stories that I'm going to make little other voice notes regarding that separately, because they are too important to add on to something, as just an add-on. Okay, my dog is whining, so I better go, and I'll chat to you later.